Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Birdland. You're at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. I'm your host, Cedric Jenkins, assistant women's basketball coach, and you're watching Jammin With Jenks. As you can see, we have a very special guest today. I am honored and pleased to have with us Dr. Juliette B, our president here at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. Hi, Dr. Bell. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great, and I'm very pleased to be here with you this afternoon.
Thank you very much for spending some of your time with us and for allowing our community to get to know you a little bit better. How have you been doing this semester?
Busy. It's been a whirlwind semester, very exciting, of course, with all of the events happening in our athletic area as well as the academic area. So it's been a wonderful semester, almost over, and I'm looking forward to graduation.
All right. Dr. Bell, just want to touch bases with you a little bit, just to get to know you as far as being a president here at the university. You were welcomed here by faculty and administration in 2012, March of 2012. So it's been over 3 years now since you've been here on the Eastern Shore. If you don't mind, can you reflect a little bit on your tenure? And are you pleased in the direction the university is going so far?
Well, it's been a wonderful 3 years. As a matter of fact, I can't believe it's been 3 years already. Sometimes I think it can't possibly have been that short of a time, and then sometimes I think, has it only been 3 years?
Mm-hmm.
I was welcomed very warmly here at the university, and it's been a really fantastic time for me here, a great opportunity. We have, I think, hit the ground running in terms of looking at where we as an institution are and where we want to go. Mm-hmm. And I found people to be very willing to buy into the vision that I have established for the university. As you know, one of my mantras is from excellence to eminence. Mm-hmm. And I hear that all around the campus. So I know that people have taken that in and believe that the university really is moving in the right direction. So I'm very pleased.
Okay. I believe athletics has really bought into that mantra because we've won a lot of awards this past year.
Absolutely.
And that's very good. That's very excellent. You've received so many rewards and accolades over your outstanding career as an administrator. Here at the university, an incentive award was created in your name for those students that have excelled in math and science, engineering, and technology. What are your thoughts when you think about the honors that you've received over the course of your career?
Well, it's humbling because I know that I started from very meager beginnings, and I believe that with hard work and determination and really enjoying and loving what you do, you can achieve your goals. So my message to students all the time is, if I could do it, you could do it. And the fact that I've been recognized for being excellent and achieving success in those areas that I see as my life's work is just icing on the cake. So I like to encourage people to look for the thing that you have a passion for. Mm-hmm. And when you find that, you will automatically do it well, and you'll be recognized for that.
All right. Let's rewind just a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about your upbringing. You were born and raised in the great state of Alabama.
I was.
So what was that like? What was your childhood like growing up in Alabama?
I grew up in rural Alabama, a little small town called Alpine, which is a suburb of the bigger city, Talladega. That's the one I always tell people I'm from, because some people do recognize that name from the college as well as from the racetrack, if you're a race fan. So, but I grew up in what I call in the country, on a farm. My father was a farmer as well as he did construction work. And so I'm the fourth of 6 children. Okay. If I had to describe my childhood with one word, it would be hard work. Okay. Because we did work the farm and, do a lot of things that perhaps kids today don't recognize as part of their experience. Mm-hmm. But, I tell people all the time I had to pick cotton and, we had corn and peanuts and all those kinds of things. So we worked very hard.
Well, with all the technology that's around today, I don't believe kids really truly understand what it's like.
They don't. I try to put a little context to it because, one of my goals when I was growing up in Alabama was to pick 100 pounds of cotton, and so what I tell people is think about a cotton ball and how light that is, and then try to figure out how many of those it would take to make 100 pounds. You can see that was quite a daunting task, but I did it.
Okay.
And so it was part of my experience in learning how to set and achieve goals.
That showed that competitive spirit right there from the beginning.
Yeah, well, if you got to do something, you might as well make it fun.
Exactly. And challenging.
Challenging, yes.
Now, being 4 of 6 children, was there any sibling rivalry growing up?
Not really. I was the favorite. I was the baby girl. So, I always got my father's attention. So maybe, a little jealousy on the part of my siblings. But, of course, I was always the one that got my way. Okay.
I understand completely with my own children. My baby girl is the same way, so I understand completely. When is it that you realized that science was the field that you wanted to go into? That this is the career path that you wanted to take?
Well, I really, when I was in school, I loved school growing up. I was probably what you would call a nerd now. I was not athletic. But I loved school, and I loved particularly math. Okay. And when I was in school, I had an opportunity to take a science class, and I found I really enjoyed being in the lab part of it, and was good at it. And so, back to that competitive side of me, it was something that I was good at. And at that time, girls weren't supposed to be good at math and science. So for me, it was a challenge. It was an opportunity to say, look, I can do this. Mm-hmm. And so that's how I got interested. And then I was encouraged to pursue my interests through college. And so that's kind of how I got into it.
Right. That's good. I'm glad that individuals like you broke those barriers down, because you don't hear those statements anymore as far as women don't belong in math or sciences anymore, things like that. So
you don't hear it, but women and minorities are still underrepresented in science, particularly in science careers and research. And so that has been a passion of mine throughout my career, is to be a role model and to encourage more students to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. There are so many opportunities there, but again, we are still underrepresented in those fields.
Are there any programs or any initiatives that you're trying to create along with the science department to bring in more minorities or more women into the field?
Well, we're looking at some opportunities through some of the funding agencies. Okay. In my former positions at other institutions, I have been taking the lead in forming those programs. For example, at Fayetteville State, I was the director of biomedical research there for 12 years. So I started a program called RISE, which was focused on helping underrepresented minorities enter and get PhDs in the biomedical sciences, and had quite a bit of success with that. So some of those programs we would like to institute here. We actually have had and will have, again, some of those funded programs here.
Okay. Cool. Dr. Bell, talk to us a little bit about your role models growing up. Who were those individuals that influenced you and you looked up to?
Well, I always say my biggest role model was my father, because he was a hardworking person. My mother died when I was young. I was 13 when she passed away, and she was 36. So even though I had some time with her, I didn't have as much time as would have been desirable. But my father was a very hardworking person. He did not have even a high school education, but he was able to, while he was still farming, he was also working full-time in the construction business, and was able to rise from a laborer to the business manager of the labor union over the course of 50 years. So he was a very strong man and a great role model for all of us to show what the benefit of working hard and being honest and dedicated to what you believe in. So he was my biggest role model.
Okay. And it definitely has paid off.
Yeah, it has paid off. Absolutely.
Dr. Bell, let's shift forward a little bit. One of your greatest accomplishments that you've been a part of was the research team that studies an enzyme that's responsible for linking the building blocks that make DNA, the genetic code. What was that like to be a part of that?
Well, I love research. When I was in college, I thought I wanted to be a medical doctor until I saw an autopsy. Then I decided not so much. But I really enjoyed being in the laboratory and asking and answering questions. So when I was graduated from graduate school and went on to my postdoc, I engaged in the research that you described, where I was studying the DNA and the impact of errors being made during the course of DNA being copied inside the cells. For example, you're probably familiar with sickle cell anemia.
Yes.
That's the result of one error being made in the process of copying DNA. Out of 3 billion building blocks, only one is changed, and it results in a devastating illness. So my work was looking at the mechanisms that copy DNA and trying to understand why errors occur, how they're corrected, and what impact they make if they are not corrected. So it was really interesting, a very rewarding work.
Okay, it sounds very interesting. Thank you.
Well,
for sharing that.
it's not only critical in genetic disorders, it's critical in cancer and a lot of disorders that are a result of exposure to chemicals and things in the environment that can cause that mechanism to make errors.
Okay.
So it was really interesting work.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that with us.
You're watching Jammin with Jenks here at the University of Maryland, Eastern Shore.
And in your career, you talked about being at Fayetteville State University. You accepted an appointment as a professor. How much did you enjoy teaching in the classroom?
I love teaching.
Okay.
Well, in my experience, teaching and research go hand in hand. Okay. So it's hard for me to separate it out because you learn more when you do. And so I taught biochemistry and molecular biology and a lot of different courses, but I enjoyed bringing students out of the classroom into the laboratory where they could actually put that classroom work to use. And so I really enjoyed that. I taught for about 12 years before I moved into administration.
Oh, okay. And then that leads into my next question. You transitioned into academic administration, being provost and vice chancellor for academic affairs at Fayetteville State. And then you were the chief academic officer at Central State in Wilberforce, Ohio. When did you decide that this is the direction you wanted to go in as far as your next career move?
Well, it's one of those cases where never say never, because I had said as a faculty member that I never wanted to be an administrator. But I had an opportunity actually before becoming provost to become the founding dean for a new college of science. A college of science. Okay. And we were splitting up our arts and science college into 2 separate colleges focused. Mine was going to be focused on basic and applied sciences. And it was an opportunity for us to develop new academic programs, to really focus on the research and the training that was going on in the STEM areas. So that was what attracted me to the administrative side originally. And once I got in, it became a case of if you want to make change, you have to be in the right position to make the change. So I started out as dean, and then I had the opportunity to be even more effective as a provost and even more effective now as a president. So hopefully, it's a progressive thing. But once you get into it, you see that you have to keep moving up in order to be in the right position to affect the kind of change you want to see.
Okay, and being in a position going from Fayetteville State to Wilberforce to the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, how did your family take your goals and aspirations?
Well, my family has always been very supportive. My children were grown and gone by the time I started making moves, so they weren't so much concerned. Okay. But my husband has always supported me in everything that I do, and so he's kind of been the one to keep the home fires burning and keep the home intact, and he pushes me forward and say, "You go do that," and I'll be there to back you up. So it's been great.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure having Mr. Bell around. He's delightful.
Yeah.
Enjoy the conversations. Now, as president, Dr. Bell, you have an excellent cabinet and staff that you've assembled. And has there been any discussion on how to continue to market the university in any way?
Well, marketing and growing our enrollment are two of my highest priorities for the university.
Okay.
When I first started here, I was just amazed at the beauty of the campus, the high quality unique academic programs that we offer, and just what a jewel the University of Maryland Eastern Shore is. One of my goals was to make sure it was not going to be a best kept secret anymore. How do we get the message out, market the university, and help people to recognize what quality work we do here? So we're continuing that effort. We've made a lot of strides, I believe, in getting our name out there. We continue to rise in the ranks of the top HBCUs in the country. And so the more we expose the great things that we're doing, the more we get people to the campus to see our beautiful campus, and the more exposure we get through our athletic and other programs, the greater opportunity we have to market our institution. We are working on enrollment because, again, we think that once students see what we have to offer, they would want to be here. Mm-hmm. And so getting them exposed to the university through various means, getting them here to visit, are all things that we're working on.
Thank you, Dr. Bell, for that. Now let's shift gears into a little bit towards athletics. We talked about that a little bit. You are a very strong supporter of athletics. Enjoy really seeing you out at the games, rooting us on, cheering us on. Some people may take that as a little bit of pressure that, okay, the president she wants a winning team, but hey, again, we enjoyed seeing you there. How proud of you of the accomplishments of your athletic programs this year? Cross country men's has received first place. Women finished in third. Women's basketball was runner-up in the MEAC championship. The men finished in third place overall in the conference. Cheerleading even placed third. Bowling team has won the MEAC championship again. How proud of you of your athletic teams?
Well, let me say that I'm proud of my teams, even if they don't win, because I know that these are true student athletes. They are performers in the classroom as well as on the courts and on the fields. So I'm proud of them either way. It's just icing on the cake when you win. And so this year has been very exciting. As you indicated, we've had a very successful academic and athletic season with our student athletes across the board. And so it's just been exciting to see the excitement on the campus surrounding the athletics and the achievements that we've had. So I hope I didn't pressure anybody being there, but you know, I was there last year when we weren't winning, so I'm there regardless of whether we win or lose, because I want to show that I really do support the students. I know it's difficult to be an athlete and a student and a scholar, and many of our students are scholars. So it's just been fantastic, and of course, like I said, it's nice to win. It's nice to get those rings and all of that. But it really is great for me to see our athletes achieving success on the court and in the classroom, especially those who've been through the hard times when we weren't so successful. So it's been a great year.
Yes, it has. And I was just about to touch bases on, I spoke with Mr. Davidson during an interview that I had with him as far as our student athletes, how we being able to be excellent in the classroom as well as on the court. And I know you have to be very proud of that, to see so many student athletes graduate at a high success rate.
I'm absolutely very proud of seeing them graduate, and graduating in majors like accounting and science and, you know, areas where they will be able to be successful and have great careers, even if their athletic careers don't go the direction that they might expect. They still have a very strong foundation in their academic program and in their degrees to go ahead and be successful business persons or scientists or whatever it is that they choose to be. So that's always rewarding to see.
Dr. Bell, I have one follow-up question for you. I, again, want to thank you for your time and spending your precious time with us, because I know it's few and far between.
It's my pleasure.
Question I'd like to ask you: when you're not being presidential, what is it that presidents do to relax?
Well, it's kind of like being the president of the United States. You're president 24/7, so it's no such. I go to the grocery store and it's, "Hey, President Bell." So you're always president. But I am trying to learn how to play golf, because my PGM student said I needed to learn the game. So I'm trying to learn that in between all the other things that I have to do. And, usually when I have a little downtime, of course, I'm a grandmother of 5, so I do a lot of FaceTiming with my grandkids and enjoy that very much. And just relax and read, or, whatever, put my feet up a little time I can. But being the president is a full-time job for sure, but I enjoy it very much.
Dr. Bell, again, thank you for spending time with us on our program. We really enjoyed having you and speaking with you in the short period of time that you've been here. Just being around you and seeing your face in the community, I know has really sparked a lot of interest and a lot of support from a lot of people in the community, as well as the student body as a whole. Thank you again for all that you do for the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. And I'm saying this as an alumnus of the university.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, and thank you for doing this show and having me on your show. And again, I hope that people watching this will really see what a wonderful institution we have here, and will encourage their children to come, or if you're a college-age child, to come to the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. Thank you.
Thank you. And you're watching Jammin with Jenks. I'd like to thank you for your opportunity and your time that you spent with us this afternoon. Tune in next time where I'll have another special guest for you. And remember, a calm sea doesn't make a skilled sailor. Thank you again for your time. God bless.